The most wonderful thing about art, I think, in general, and why I'm so grateful that this show exists, is that with art, like the more you invest in its consumption, the better reward you get out of it. Like I come here and I listen to poetry and watch dance, and as I learn more about those crafts themselves, I get more appreciation for them, and I get like a stronger emotional response to the performance. I personally feel like exactly that way about learning, especially about sciencey topics, and I hope to be able to kind of share that enthusiasm with you. Marcus's Science Minute. The format is going to be 2 parts. One, current events, things that are going on in the last couple weeks that I just happened to have stumbled on that are kind of cute. And the second, we'll have like a topic. That is, if this doesn't suck, then there's another one in the future. Stuff that's going on right now. The Curiosity rover, the Mars Science Lander, everybody knows about this thing? Yes? Okay, alright. Alright, so that little robot just hit 5,000 meters on its little space robot odometer. It landed in August 2012, which means that my 5K time is not the slowest in the universe. Fun fact, its chassis, like the legs of this thing, was built by like a high-tech bicycle company here in Chattanooga. So, didn't know if you knew that, kind of cool. You like chickens or sloths? Sloths? Okay, alright.
My spirit animal.
Perfect. Okay, so there was a strain of fungus that was discovered in sloth fur. Like they have algae out there kind of camouflages them. And there was a strain of fungus that was found in sloth fur. It has some really interesting properties for battling parasites and is really active against human breast cancer cells. So the next time you go to visit Olive at the Chattanooga Zoo, she's good at 3 things now: napping, looking cute, and fighting cancer. So go her. Alright, so I had this great bit about gravity for tonight, because gravity kind of holds the universe together. It's really cool. We're going to talk about star formation and lunar volcanoes and how to save the Earth from asteroids if Bruce Willis isn't around, and what would happen if you fell into a black hole. Spoiler alert, it's gruesome. But a conversation I had this week made me just like throw the whole damn thing out, and I freestyled some notes, and we're going to read those instead. We cite our sources, so a lot of this is going to be heavily influenced by guys like Carl Sagan and Neil Tyson, Richard Feynman, and maybe Bill Nye the Science Guy. So it's all going to be in there. I'm not going to do like line by line, but here we go. This conversation, I was on a date, and this girl was kind of cute, and then she said, she's not much of a reader. I know. And she hadn't like finished a book since high school. So like I can't see you. But show of hands, like who wants to go out on a second date with that girl? Nobody. There's no hands up, I said, right? Okay, that's good. Man, if she ain't got a brain, not interested. Okay, so next question. Who in the audience has heard somebody say, or even said themselves, that like math is dumb, or math is hard, or I haven't used math? Yeah, we hear this. We hear this a lot. So, okay, so there's a parallel between these 2 questions. And I think that literacy in science is just as important in literacy, or as literacy in the humanities, if you want to become like an interesting, well-rounded person. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. So what I talk about with the science word, science, I'm going to read it, is a method for learning things about how the universe works. You can use science to refute or support an idea, but you can't really say that science itself is wrong. It's just an approach. It's not a belief system, so I'm not here to talk about faith or make political commentary. And while science provides knowledge that sort of enables technology, everybody talks about technology, and we're just going to avoid that topic. So to repeat myself, science is a method for learning things about how the universe works. So there's no desired outcome. We want to find out more about the world, and if it turns out that there's like a simple ultimate law of physics that explains everything, so be it. That would be very, very nice to discover. There's probably a prize for you. But if it's like an onion and there's just layers and layers and layers and we get tired of the whole damn thing, then that's what it is. But however it shakes out, like nature is there, and she's going to come out the way she is, and I love that idea. So we talked about the separation between the sciences and the humanities, and there's like animosity between them sometimes. I think that's a relatively new phenomenon. Everybody's heard of Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton. He was not a scientist. The term didn't even exist at his time. He called himself a natural philosopher. This guy named Edgar Allan Poe, heard of him? He suggested that space and time were sort of intertwined. This was 60 years before Albert Einstein talked about general relativity. So what I'm saying is that artists and scientists are really the same. The essence is that we both want to explore our experience and then try to understand it. I heard an artist friend say that science tries to quantify and explain away all the beauty in the world. And I called him a bad word, but I think the opposite is true. So like, he made an example about like a flower, and it's beautiful. And, but I submitted to him that the beauty of the flower is still available to everyone, whether, regardless of what background they come from. Like him as an artist, he has like a more refined appreciation of aesthetics, and the poets and the writers out there have a more evocative vocabulary to capture that. But everybody can appreciate the beauty itself. My assertion is that like a botanist has access to like an extra layer of beauty down kind of, not at like this dimension, but at the microscopic dimension. There's a lot of interesting processes that are going on. It's like a dance, and it makes the flower work and do what it does. A biologist understands that the flower, the shape of its petals, and the color evolved for a specific reason, so like insects could pollinate that flower. And this idea brings up like a whole new question, like what makes something aesthetically appealing in the first place? Does the honeybee that pollinates the flower have a refined sense of aesthetics just like the artist does? I think that science only adds to the excitement and wonder and awe in the flower, and it doesn't subtract it. So back to literacy. You hear this word like skepticism sometimes, and it's got like a lot of baggage with it. You hear it like it's like people think skepticism and they think like cynicism and bitterness and just like being disagreeable. I interpret that word as being curiosity. It is wondering how things work, and when you get the answers to how those individual things work and you realize they're related, and that curiosity is a driving thought process. Like that's how brains work for somebody who is scientifically literate. To appeal to tonight's theme, this curiosity idea is something that kids are like great at. That's what they're born with. We train them how to walk and talk, and then we spend the rest of their lives telling them to sit down and shut up and get out of the mud and stop touching that, right? So I mean, if you find your kid on the kitchen floor and they're banging on pots and pans, they're conducting an experiment in acoustics. If they're in your garden and they're ripping open a flower, they want to see what's inside. That's curiosity, and that's exploration, and that's science, and I think that we kind of as a society try to beat that out of them. So how's it relevant to you? So somebody comes to you with a little bottle of snake oil, say, and they say it's going to heal some ailment that you're suffering. Well, there's like a homeopathic section in Green Life. There's like an aisle of this stuff. Man, it's all snake oil over there. No, but like I don't want you to say like, oh, this snake oil is total bunk and it's dumb and walk away, because that's just like an excuse to not think at all, and that's no good. So I want you to be curious and explore that. So you ask like, how does this snake oil work? How do you know it works? What mechanisms inside your body does it exploit to function? How do you know it's going to work on me? I got allergies to something, and can you find somebody that's worked on before? As evidence of that. So I guess I'm going to wrap up with some blatant pandering. I know there's some like Tennessee Valley Pride people in the crowd, and I love y'all. Okay, so you have heard this before, I'm sure. So somebody comes up to you and they tell you in your face, you got their red face, they're upset, and they say your way of life is not natural. But you have curiosity now. So what you're going to do is you're going to go and find out. You're going to go research this. Is this thing exist in nature? And you would find that homosexual behavior has been observed and documented in 1,500 animal species. But you'll find that being like a homophobic, bigoted jackass has only been found in one. Right? So like, whose behavior is not natural? So kind of is a happy coincidence if you're interested in this stuff at all. There's a television series called Cosmos. It debuts on Sunday. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the quote-unquote, one of his accolades, he is the world's sexiest astrophysicist. That premieres on Sunday. You can check that out. The brains involved there, like the best communicators that are out there, and they've got a big budget, and it's going to be fantastic. My name is Galen. I'm an engineer. I operate the Impromptu Astronomy Club, which has its own story behind it, but that's that's what we do. So thank you very much for your time. Come tell me later if it's bad or not, or what you want to learn about. I appreciate it.